biggest beats in the business. HugeBeatz.com. Huge.
Word up, everybody. Huge Beats back with another tip to make your beats sound as good as they can. This one on simple mastering. What's the difference between mastering? First of all, I can't teach you how to be a mastering engineer in like 10 minutes on a YouTube video, okay? Of course, that's ridiculous. But I'm going to give you some tips to make your stuff sound good and loud and hopefully closer to a commercial sounding recording. So first of all, mix bus compression versus mastering. What's the difference? So mix bus compression is something you do before you start mixing. You put a compressor on your mix bus, like the last output of your DAW, and then mix into that compression. So that compressor is going to be on while you turn your sounds up and down, right, in volume. Because what happens when you put a compressor on at the end when you're done mixing is it changes all the relationships between your tracks. So and that's what mastering is. Mastering is taking a track or a group of tracks and compressing them, EQing them after you're already done mixing. And you do this because, like, on your mixtape, one song's going to be real bass heavy, the next one might need like some high end, one might be louder than the other. So that's what mastering is. It evens all those things out so it sounds like a cohesive mixtape and not just one loud track with a heavy bass and then the next one's real quiet. You have to turn up your stereo. Anyway, so one's done before, one's done after. So why would you even want to mix into compression? Well, it gives you like a glue. It like gels together your tracks. Makes everything kind of fit together nicely. Try it, you'll like it. I'll make a video on it sometime. But for right now, this Ghetto mastering. So one thing I want to stress that's kind of important is to have a reference track in mind. So what a reference track is, you put it in your project, and that's kind of what you want your track to sound like. You want to copy that feel, or you're going to use that as a model for your track. It's good to learn from beats that have already been commercial hits. Let me show you here. This is my beat. And this is my reference track. I picked one that kind of sounded like mine. Hit me. So you can hear the differences already. I mean, they're not exactly the same type of track, but, you know, it's in the ballpark. So I can hear, you know, this is my unmastered track, and this is a commercial release. It's mastered already, so you can see the levels are hotter. But all right, so let's see what we can do to make this beat measure up to this commercial release here. So first thing we're going to do is add some EQ. I like to add 12K. You can add higher frequencies to give it like a sheen. The higher you go, the more you can add because, you know, humans can't hear at that high of a frequency, like above 20K. So don't be shy about adding it. Let's check out, see what it does. Nothing. Slowly adding it. Now it's getting crispy. That's on 10. That's super annoying right there, but here's with and without. That. Then we'll add some low end. Let's do, 30 hertz. Don't want to add too much of any of these things. Here it is with and without. With. All right, so you can see that difference. Now we're going to add the compression. So with this compression, you're just going to shave off a few dBs to kind of glue everything together. Let's check it out. I'm going to move the threshold up. First I'll turn it on. I'm going to move the threshold. So it's kind of tickling the needles here. This is too much. You want it under 5 for sure. It's like 2.5 dB that it's compressing. You want your attack at a high attack number, and what that is, if you turn all the way down, it's gonna kill your peaks. So your mix is not gonna sound punchy. So you want it pretty high. This is good. Ratio 2 to 1. Release, just leave it on auto for now. You want it pumping, you want to change this so it pumps with your beat, but leave that on auto for now. This is my pro tip. Stop the music because this is very important here. You want a compressor that has this high pass side chain that, like the API 2500 has it. This is Cytomix, the glue. And what this does, you turn this up to like 200, 300, and what that means is everything below 300 is not hertz. All the lower frequencies, in other words, are not being fed into the compressor. Now, why would you want to do that? Because your low frequencies are gonna, in hip-hop music especially, you got a lot of low end going on, and those low frequencies are gonna make your compressor pump and work super hard, and it's gonna screw up your mix. So, turn this up to like 200, 300, and it's gonna let more of that low end in. Mess with your threshold. Now, as you can see, I left the threshold where it was, and now it's not. The needle's not even moving. That's because there's no low end going into the compressor. So now you can turn this up. There you go. Tickling the needles. If you want to, A, B it, here's without. With. If you find it's quieter, you can turn up the makeup gain a little bit. Too much, it's distorting. It's good. Alright, and last but not least, this is what all you fly mothers like to make your shit loud via L2. This setting, we're going to turn the output ceiling to minus 0.3. Why? Because theoretically you can go up to 0 without distorting, but a lot of times when you convert a CD to MP3 or on the net, this stuff can distort. So when it approaches 0. So this is kind of a good happy medium. Some people go lower, but minus 0.3 is fine for kind of general purposes. And then you can leave this threshold at 0 for now. We're going to listen to what it does. Alright, so we got our EQ on, we got our light compression. Now we're going to move this threshold down. You can hear it get louder. Now you're going to hear it get super loud. And I just ruined my mix trying to make it as loud as humanly possible. So it's again, it's your job to find the happy medium. I can hear it kind of distorting and working too hard there, so I'm gonna back it off. Maybe a little more. Like 3 dB compression. Alright. So let's listen to with and without. Without. width. Alright, and you can see it matches more with the commercial recording. So now they're louder. So, recap, mix bus compression. Something is a compressor you put on your mix bus before you start mixing and you mix into it. Mastering is EQ, compression, limiting that you do after you're done with your mix to make it sound similar to a reference track or the track before or after the one on your mixtape. Think of mastering, think of mix bus compression like washing your car. You washed your car, it's looking good, you can already get some girls with it. Woohoo! Fly honeys. And then think of mastering as like putting a coat of wax. It's like, whoa, okay, now it's shining, matches those 22s. You ain't got 22s? Start saving up, son. Anyway, post questions if you got them. If you want any of your tracks mastered, hit me up. These are plugins, but I got all this shit in hardware, which sounds about 10 times better than these plugins. So, hit me up. See you next time.
Huge Beatz, the biggest beats in the business.